We have not one, not two, but three semi-finals in the women's 800 metres. Really good lineup for this one. It was excellent qualification last night. That's Alexandra Bell in the foreground and Olga Lyakova, Ukrainian European bronze medalist, indoors and out. She was second in what they called the match. Europe against the United States in Minsk, around about the, what was it, 9th and 10th of September. Hashlaf, the Moroccan, goes on the inside, semi-finalist in London 7 years ago. Good tactical awareness from her. Nanyondo and Rogers, though, perhaps the two women who might fancy themselves to be the favourites here. Well, let's see. Nobody's guaranteed a place in a final. Canadian representation in the men's 100-metre final with Andre de Grasse. I wonder whether Lindsay Butterworth can get through to a global showdown. Fifth in the Pan American Games, tantalisingly close to breaking the 2-minute barrier this season. Katarina Trost, second in Heat 3. I thought she ran really well to make it through a really tough qualification race. Alexandra Bell also ran very well in Heat 5. Commonwealth finalist last year. Can she make a global showdown? Olga Lyakova, European bronze medalist, indoors and out. 1:59.13 this season. I think she'll fancy this, but so too will Raven Rogers. 8th fastest in the world this year, but the 3rd quickest of the women still left in it. Winnie Nanyondo won Heat 3, 3rd in the Brussels Diamond League. She's in PB shape this season, the Ugandan. Liga Valverde, a semi-finalist twice in the European Champs over the 400 hurdles. She's putting that speed and power to good use now over the 2-lap race. Halima Hashlaf, 3rd in Heat 3. Not quite yet back to the form that took her to 1:58 plus change, but she's not far away. Nanyondo in lane 4 for Uganda. Rogers, USA in 5. Well, these semi-finals are really competitive. 8 women who richly deserve their spot, but only 2 guaranteed to move through to the final, and it's Raven Rogers who's decided to take this on, with Nanyondo just moving along to the inside line behind her, and Lyakova of Ukraine in 3rd place, and they're not hanging around.
This is quick, 26.91 seconds. Is this the final or the semi-final? This is the same tactic that Raven Rogers employed yesterday. Winnie Nanyondo was also a leader through her heat as well, so both of those girls have got themselves to the front. A really tough qualification with just 2 to go through, but 2 fastest times on paper as well.
It was very quick after 200. Let's check the clock. 57.8 at the bell. Raven Rogers, 3rd in the US Championships, has set her stall out early, but look at how bunched the field are. They're coming back to her.
A lot of these girls have been running close to personal best times, and this really makes me think that perhaps 4 of these athletes can qualify from this final.
Rogers leads, Nanyondo in 2nd, Butterworth running really well just on the outside there. Lyakova of Ukraine, Hashlaf trying to close the gap. Alexandra Bell still there, and Trost, the German. The identity of the first 2 far from certain. The favourites Rogers and Nanyondo are in 1st and 2nd at the moment. But watch for the Canadian. Lyakova now trying to come up onto Butterworth's shoulder. Ukraine and Canada in 3rd and 4th. Now the American and the Ugandan pull away. Rogers and Nanyondo take those spots. Well, it wasn't the most even of splits, but just a shade inside 2 minutes. She is a really brave, really confident, very talented 800-metre runner, and she thoroughly deserves her place in the final after taking it out so hard.
Yeah, she does. She's got speed to burn, really fast over 200 metres. She's run really quick, 52.06 over 400 metres. She will have the most speed of any of the girls Reve Rogers, but I think she just takes it out fast. She gets herself in a good position. Then she actually did slow down between 200 and 400. It did slow down again, but 30 seconds that last 200 metres, really quick.
Just a quick one, sorry to interrupt you, Jenny. I think Nanyondo's hurt herself. She was limping after the line. I'm just watching her out of shot at the moment. She's clearly got a problem with her right leg, maybe a quad. She's limping heavily, and that would be a real shame for Winnie Nanyondo were she not able to take her place in the starting lineup for the final. I can see her out the corner of my eye, and she's definitely limping. She still hasn't left the track. Hopefully she can get some treatment. She's qualified as of right. Excellent run from both of them.
Yeah, it was, and she was delighted when she saw her time and her position on the scoreboard here. She puts her hands over her head. She still looks okay at this point. In fact, Rogers was really making a run all the way to the line. She wasn't giving her much space whatsoever. She was making a run really tight to the rail. I don't know whether Winnie Nanyondo just pulled something as she was straining to know that she's made that final. But yeah, great race from two really gutsy athletes who were rewarded for their front-running tactics, and that's what we want to see.
Well, she looks okay there, Nanyondo, doesn't she? Third and fourth, by the way, Lyakova and Butterworth. We'll have to wait to see whether they can go through as the non-automatic qualifiers. 2 minutes, 0.72, 2 minutes, 0.74. Raven Rogers and Winnie Nanyondo safely through. Lyakova and Butterworth will have to wait and see. Only 2 non-automatic qualifiers across the 3 semi-finals. Now it's time for the second semi-final of the women's 800 metres. As expected, a brilliant lineup here. Rabia Rafi goes in 9. Welche, the Ethiopian World Junior Champion, in 8. Argie Wilson, bronze 2 years ago, twice a world indoor silver medalist. The favourite for the gold medal. First, she has to ensure she makes the final. Rosemary Almanza, Pan American silver medalist this year. World Student Games gold a couple of years ago. Really consistent performer, nearly always running well inside 2 minutes. Natalia Przeszepa just going through shot, twice a European champion. Shalena Oskan-Clark, European indoor champion. World indoor bronze medalist. So strong and so fast, building up from the 400. Hedda Hein made the semis 2 years ago. Can she go one better? Shunyu Wang was a semi-finalist in the Olympic Games. She won the Chinese trials. She goes in 2. Argie Wilson, the favourite. She starts third from the outside in lane 7. Watch out for Almanza in 6. Przeszepa in 5, and Oskan-Clark of Great Britain in lane 4. Second of 3 semi-finals in the women's 800 metres. Little ripple of applause for one of the field events as the athletes were preparing for the off. Almanza up onto the shoulder of Argie Wilson. Her compatriot Raven Rogers grabbed the first semi-final by the scruff of the neck, and Wilson, it seems, is doing the same. Almanza in second, Oskan-Clark, the powerful-looking British runner, in third, and Hein up into 4th place.
It's another swift first 200 metres, 27.5 seconds, a little bit slower than the first one, and in fact they've just boxed a little bit. Almanza just took a little bit of a shove. She just had to check her stride, but this is looking like it's going to be around about 58 seconds, a touch slower than the first one.
Tightly bunched as they head towards the bell. Wilson looks relaxed, but she's got classy company here and needs to be careful. 59.3 at the bell. Rafi up onto Almanza's shoulder. Hein is in 5th. Oskan-Clark is boxed at the moment in 3rd place as the Norwegian tries to find a way through on the inside. No move yet from the Ethiopian World Junior Champion as they head down the back straight with 2:50 to go. Remember, only 2 are guaranteed a place in the final. Almanza and Rafi. Rafi running out in lane 2 here, and she's managed to box Almanza, who had to check her stride. That could be costly for her. There's a shove in the back for Oskan Clark from Hedda Hein. It's all going on here. And Almanza's looking a little bit ragged, trying to come wide on the outside. The Cuban desperately trying to get in the mix here. Archie Wilson looks so composed here. Rafi just beginning to tire, but has she done enough? Yes, she has. Wilson from Rafi, and as Hedda Hein came through on the inside, she gave a shove to Shelena Oskan Clark, who, it has to be said, was not closing at that time. So she ended up crashing to the ground. No doubt of the two qualifiers, though. Classy from Wilson and Rafi. Wilson, it looked to me, had that race totally under control right from the gun.
Sometimes when you get a dominant athlete like RJ Wilson, you know, she's got a personal best of 1 minute 55. Sometimes a lot of the competitors just don't think they could beat you. So she's just allowed to dominate those races, taking it out in 27.5 seconds. She makes the field all have to work pretty hard. She slowed it down. I like her tactic, 59.3. It brought everyone back together. But Rafi, she worked hard, didn't she, on that back straight. Here we go. We can just see Almanza there just having to check herself as the pack all came back. Was really impressed with Oskan Clark. She always puts herself in a good position, but before she fell and tripped, she was treading water. She was working really, really hard. It's quite difficult in these middle distance events when the pace changes a lot. It starts off fast, slows down, and it picks up again. But I thought Rafi's strength down the home straight was great. Former 800-meter runner, she was 4th in Beijing in 2015, just outside of the medals. She's done a lot of work over 1,500 meters. She'll go in that event, no doubt, later in the championships as well. But Rafi took a really nice second place there.
And just whilst you were eloquently talking us through the top two, Hein did come through on the inside of Oskan Clark, but I'm not even sure there was any contact. I just think the British athlete ran out of steam and clipped her foot in an unrealistic manner and then went down. But Wilson, she looks so good. We haven't seen her in a major championship as the outright favourite. She is here in Doha, and it's so far so good.
It is so far so good. She's not been the favourite in international championships at senior level, but she did win the World Juniors as a young athlete, also the World Youths. She's always favourite in America, and she's lifted so many of those American titles. I think she's got 9 to her name now.
Archie Wilson, a brilliant qualification. Rafi also there. Hein and Almanza will miss out. That's not as quick as the fastest non-qualifiers from the first semi. Anyway, Morgan Mitchell starts on the outside in the third semi-final. Renelle Lameau, European silver indoors and out, looked really good in qualification. Eunice Sum, world champion in Moscow back in 2013. Came through as a non-automatic qualifier, but it's great to see her racing again and fit again. Kiara Brown, third in the US Indoor Championships, over 1,000 metres. Natoya Gould, second fastest of all the women still in this championship, Pan American champion from Jamaica. Halima Nakai of Uganda, semi-finalist a couple of times. There's Yurigo of Benin and Anna Sabat, 5th in the European champs last year. She's on the inside. So, the third of 3 semi-finals. Watch lanes 4, 5, 6 and 7. Nakai in lane 4, the small figure in yellow trying to come up onto Natoya Gould's shoulder and goes past her. Kiara Brown tracking Eunice Sum. Renelle Lameau has started slowly, and it's the Kenyan Sum with Nagai, the Ugandan, just on her inside. And what an aggressive second 100 metres there from Morgan Mitchell, the Australian, putting herself in a nice position.
Just has the first 2 semi-finals, went through that 200 metres really quick. So does the third, 27.33 seconds. Again, these ladies have got the advantage of being in the final semi-final, so they'll be running for, thinking in their head that 4 of them could get through this. Some on the inside, followed by the Australian Mitchell, really quick over the 400 metres.
tightly bunched at the bell. 58.14. They might get more than 2 from this race, but they've got to keep it going. The former champion from 6 years ago, Eunice Sun, leads, but look how they're all queuing up. It's Nakai on the inside, Gould coming up on the outside. And the Australian Morgan Mitchell, 3 times national champion over the 400. She suddenly comes under a little bit of pressure. Nakai is desperately trying to force a gap on the inside, but it's not really there. She might have to be disqualified for that. She's still in the hunt at the moment. Gould, focused and calm. Kiara Brown coming up as well, the American, very much in the shake-up for the top 4, but Nakai was pushing Eunice Sun and is still pushing Natoya Gould to try and get a gap on the inside. Surely there'll be an appeal if 1 or 2 of the other nations feel as though they've been hard done by. Halima Nakai is going to take this. The Ugandan very tight on the line. Eunice Sun just out dipping Kiara Brown. Well, it was aggressive and it was bold, but surely there were far too many times in that race where she was pushing and barging. She wasn't reacting, she was being proactive, and surely there'll be questions asked about the manner in which she shoved her way through time and time again.
Yeah, Nakai obviously knows she's in really good shape, and she pulled away from all the girls there in the last 50 metres. It was almost like she was frustrated that she couldn't find the space, but the 800 metres, I remember Sebastian Coe actually saying, it's like playing chess at high speed. You have to wait for your moves. You can maybe do 1 move wrong, and then if you do 2 moves, you know, game over, but you have to wait. You have to wait till the space is there. Eunice Sun did very well here when Nakoya started actually, you know, trying to get on the inside. You saw her face actually tighten up a little bit. She did well to keep her composure, but it was Gould who actually got a really big shove. Here we go there from Nakai, and that's not where you want a shove. With 100 metres to go, all of a sudden after a shove like that, it can just knock your centre of gravity totally off, and all of a sudden from feeling fresh you can go really heavy legged, and I think that's what happened to Gould. Her head is back. That is a characteristic of Gould, how she runs anyway, but Nakoya had lots more in it. But yeah, let's just see what the officials say about that. But Sun, we know she's through to the final. Absolutely amazing after a 4-year absence from the sport.
Question for you then, as you've probably been in these positions, if she had this much energy to push and was accelerating that much at the end, why didn't she just go around the outside? That gap didn't exist.
Yeah, I would not have done that, because you're always scared of, you know, being in that position. I've often gone, you know, on the outside of lane 2 round a bend. We saw that's what Arafi did. Arafi went really wide. She knew she had this strength. If you've got that much left in you, you just don't wait for the gap. You just got to get yourself around these athletes. So brilliant qualification. She's clearly in shape. Let's see whether their judges decide that she's going to take that place in the final or not. It's going to be an interesting one.
Well, as it stands at the moment, with the season's best, Nakai of Uganda will be in the final. Sun second, out-dipping Kiara Brown by 0.02 of a second. Gould, who was shoved aside, finished in 4th.